today at the offices of the really cool, really important, really old punk label Kill Rock Stars with Kill Rock Stars president Portia Sabin.
There's only 6 media outlets that are controlling all of the media that we consume. Payola is where you give money or gifts to radio stations in exchange for radio play. It costs $4 million to get a song played.
What? Isn't the internet supposed to change all this? I mean, I don't mean to be naive, but like the internet was supposed to change everything. Is it doing anything at all to break up all this stuff? Because suddenly we're free and we have, we make everything ourselves, right? So how do we get around this?
The internet has had pluses and minuses, but one of the big pluses for indie labels of the internet is, like I said, internet radio, Pandora, Sirius XM. These are the places in which our music really shines, because it is music that people really do want to hear. So we've got like something like 40% of that market.
Wow. For
the indies. That's really good. If you figure none of the 3 majors has any more than 20-some%.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so we actually dominate in those formats. One of the real scary parts about the internet is that it has provided a filter or a funnel to take venture capital money and shoot it through right back to the major labels.
No.
Yes.
No.
So for example, Spotify, a new service, they get however hundreds of millions of dollars from venture capitalists to start themselves up. Then they go directly to the major labels and they say, we want to license your catalogs to put on the internet so that we have some music for our services. And the major labels say, that's great, give us $100 million. So they give them $100 million.
That's also still not within the budget of my allowance.
Yeah, definitely not. And here's the real kicker. Spotify in particular also gave the majors stock in the company. So they have ownership in the company. And they negotiated the terrible per stream rate, which we all know, which is 0.004 cents per stream. And the reason they did that is because the giant advances that the majors got are not recoupable. They don't have to pay the artists any of that money. They get to keep it.
Artists pay for radio play.
All they have to pay to the artist is the crappy per stream rate. Then when Spotify came to the indies, we don't have anyone who represents us. I mean, we do now. We have Merlin who represents us, but as in general, you don't have. We're 10,000 indies. That's the nice part about consolidation for the majors. There's only 3 of them, so Spotify just goes to 3 guys and talks to them, or women, and then 10,000 indie labels. Spotify just says, you guys get no advances, but you can get this crappy per stream rate. So we're left with the crappy per stream rate. We have no advances, and that's the end. And all that venture capital money went right back to the majors. Thanks, Internet.
Thanks, Internet?
Yep.
How could listeners, just think radically for a second, how could listeners make a change in radio? I don't know.
I think the biggest way listeners could make a change in the music business is to learn more about how the music business works. There's been such a bad PR campaign about the majors.
Mm-hmm.
Majors screw over artists. The majors, take artists' money. And so, therefore, everybody thinks labels are major labels.
Huh.
So nobody knows what I do. When I say I run a record label, they have no idea what I'm talking about. But then if someone does know what a record label is, they think Sony. So they think I'm screwing over artists. And something I think is really important is, for example, Universal. Let's take a company like Universal. I run a record label, meaning I put out records. That's all I do. Universal has a movie studio, they have production companies. They're a huge conglomerate corporation. So it's like they have ways to make money. So if they lose money on their music side, no big deal, because they can go make more movies or whatever. If I lose money on my music side, I'm out of business and we don't eat, and I have to lay him off. So it's very, very different, and people have no concept of that. So I think just becoming educated about what actually happens in the music business is the best. And I have a radio show called The Future of What, which is trying to do just that.
Well, I think you've actually done a great job of educating us today about how the music industry works. So thanks very much for coming on the media show.
You're welcome. It was my pleasure.